Welcome back to another edition of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump. Today we've got Ranae Goedhardt. She's a nurse practitioner. She's going to be talking to us just basically about what a nurse practitioner does, a family nurse practitioner, and some other good things that are happening in the medical industry. There's so many questions that are going on right now, with today being the last day to file for the Obamacare program that everybody loves. So we're going to go ahead and just we have a phone line. The phone line is 727-8750. We're going to bring on Ranae. We're going to talk a little bit about things. So Ranae, what's going on today in the industry? There's so many different changes and stuff like that. How does a family nurse practitioner fit into the whole scope of what's happening?
Okay, well, in July, the Nevada State Legislature gave us autonomy. So that's a big step for family nurse practitioners. We no longer need a collaborating physician. We are working under our own license. We report back to the Nevada State Board of Nursing, and we can fit in as a primary care provider on our own and fit into the whole scheme of things now, with a lot of people getting insurance and needing primary care.
I understand that in the way that they've written the laws today with the new Obamacare, that if they see you, it's one deductible. If they see a doctor, it's another deductible. Do you understand that? And can you expand on that, or are you familiar with that?
Well, it's always been Medicare has paid 100% to physicians, MDs, and nurse practitioners, we've always received 80% of the reimbursement. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a cost savings to insurance companies. So they've always favored nurse practitioners that way. And we have a lot of research showing that you get, equal or as good an outcome with a nurse practitioner as you would at your MD.
Gotcha.
Most things.
So what is in your own words, if I was to come and see you versus seeing the doctor, is there any elevation of help that I would get from one to the other in advice or anything? How does that work?
Okay, well, nurse practitioners, we have, usually we are RNs to begin with. We graduated with a bachelor's degree in nursing, and then we go on and we have master's degrees. Usually that's another additional 3 years of education. We don't really have some of the internship residency requirements that MDs, most of us do some on-the-job training with a collaborating physician for the first couple thousand hours. And then we're pretty autonomous, and we would refer to a specialist just the same as another family practitioner. And so we do similar things in the office.
Let's face it, I mean, everything's changed in the industry. It's almost like they just washed it clean and put in a new set of rules and everything. Do you see that affecting the way care is going to be given? What's your first, intuition about that? How does that come about?
Well, some of the reimbursements go down. So you see a small office like ours, we just, in order to make things pencil out, as you say, with a lower reimbursement, you have to see more patients. So then that kind of affects the patient care, because you're trying to give the patient as much time as they need, but you may have to have them come back on a separate occasion to continue, because you won't be able to fit everything in one visit, because we need to see a certain number of patients a day to keep the lights on, pay the staff, etc.
Do you feel that the confusion is going to really carry out in how care will be given, or is care going to continue to be as it has been, but with the amount of how the billing cycles and how the expenses are going to be made to the different insurance companies? I mean, will people be stuck with not getting the coverage that they would expect to have because their policies have changed?
Yeah, a lot of people's policies have changed. We've seen co-pays go up. We've seen some of their medication costs go up. So they're already seeing some more of the out-of-the-pocket expenses. for the patient. So they aren't getting as many tests done because their copay may have gone from $4 or $5 to $40 or $50. And so they're like, well, I don't want that ultrasound if I have to pay that much out of pocket. So then, you know, our care is affected because we don't get the testing results because the patients can't afford the out-of-pocket costs. So some of that is going to affect their outcomes. And
as a nurse practitioner, how does that make you feel? That's got to make you feel horrible because you cannot treat somebody possibly the way that they should be treated because of Obamacare.
Right. No, we want to provide the same care we've always provided. We care for our patients, and it's frustrating when they can't afford to get their testing done.
Now, I also understand that the independent group is the only group of independent doctors in Pahrump. Everything else is corporate. Corporate
Correct.
Doctors, corporate facilities. You know,
Right.
you actually, will you be able to take more time to spend with folks than the corporate doctor will be? Or what's the big difference between being independent versus being corporate?
Well, we don't have a corporation telling us you need to, you need to see this many patients, you need to do it in this amount of time, you need to. We set our own schedules, and we do. We tend to spend as much time with our patients as we possibly can. And our patients, they understand that. Most of them know that they may wait for us for a few minutes, but we spend the time that's necessary, and we get to the root of the problem. We talk to our patients and do our homework and find out what's going on with the patient.
As a medical provider, how does that make you feel that you're able to do that, spend more time with the patient versus working for a corporation? That's probably why you've elected to stay where you are.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the primary reasons. We don't need a corporation kind of getting in the middle of things, telling us how to do our practice. So
I'm posting on Facebook at the same time, and instead of posting the station, the phone and the call-in number, I put one of our cell phone numbers down there. So I'm going to change that so everybody knows to call that number. And for those that are watching out there at home, it's Ranae Goedhardt. She has come on to the show tonight, and we were going to have Dr. Savron on tonight. If you remember, Dr. Savron had some medical challenges, so he had to stay in Vegas to work on that. So last minute, we asked if Ranae would come up, and she said absolutely, and she did. Now, this show is actually owned by their group. They're the ones that are coming up to us and say, we want to get medical advice out there, and we don't want to do this on the big corporate level. We want to do this on the personal level, one-on-one, and talking to you and to Pahrump. So if you're looking for a medical doctor, and if you're looking for a nurse practitioner, there's 5 individuals that are working over here at the Independent Medical Group, and I highly recommend that you give them a call. There's a lot of information that's on the numbers on the screen, 751-6111, and you can contact them and they can help you out, but they're there to help you more on a one-on-one basis versus a corporate basis. And apparently there's a big difference between the two, and I would think that you guys over there are just seeing patients left and right, just talking to them, spending a little bit more time and a little bit more care.
Yeah, we stay busy, and I think our patients are really satisfied.
Tell me some of the procedures and stuff that you can do out of your office at that location.
We do ultrasound. We have a DEXA scanner. We have just minor procedures that we do in the office.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And how many patients do you get to see, I guess? Let me rephrase this. Are you there every day of the week first?
I'm there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so you're there 4 days a week.
Yep.
And so you get to see, and you schedule patients? You have your own patients that you schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you do, like female issues as well?
I do.
Okay.
I do a lot of women's health. I do bioidentical hormones, so that's one of the new up-and-coming types of things.
Are you able to talk about that tonight?
Sure.
Okay, that's
Sure.
interesting to talk about too. And again, that's called?
Bioidentical hormone therapy.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Is that technology that's new to females, or where is that? I'm not familiar with that, obviously.
the interest came when Family Pharmacy first came to town, and he was our first compounding pharmacy. And typically bioidentical hormones are compounded by a local pharmacist, and they imitate our own natural hormones. They're usually made out of soy or yam, but when the pharmacist is done with them, they do not resemble soy or yam, and they imitate our own natural hormones. And so right now we're doing estrogens, progesterone, and testosterone.
And I'm guessing this is mainly for those that need.
Right. It's usually perimenopausal or menopausal women. We do have some younger women that are on it. It treats things like endometriosis and, some of those kinds of things. If they've been on other hormone therapies and maybe they've gone off and their body hasn't quite kicked in and they're lacking hormones, we can balance them out.
How do you, I mean, let's just dive into that a little bit more. I mean, is it expensive first?
It depends. We've got a couple different pharmacies we work with. Now that Family Pharmacy is no longer in town, we send out to a couple pharmacies in Las Vegas who are kind enough, and they will ship it right here to Pahrump, so you don't have to drive into Vegas for your medications. And then there's some mail order pharmacies that people have found on the internet, and I think some of those were cheaper, but we like keeping things as local as we can, and we tend to support the more local pharmacies in Vegas.
Does that have to be covered by insurance, or can you cover it by cash? I mean, will insurance cover it, I guess, first?
There's very few insurances that actually cover the bioidenticals. Most of the women are happy, and they will gladly pay out of pocket for it.
Gotcha. But it works pretty good.
Works pretty good.
And what did women say about it? What's the telltale sign that they're happy?
The telltale sign that they're happy is they come in and they kiss me on the cheek and tell me I've changed their life.
Really? Does that happen?
That happens.
Really? Wow, this is really interesting. So, I mean, tell people how to reach you to talk to them about this, because I'm sure there's people in our audience that's going to need this procedure and this technology.
Yeah. Can call me at the office phone number, 775-751-6111.
Very cool. Well, this is we're watching right now, the Independent Doctors of Pahrump television show. This show was birthed from Dr. Ranae and myself talking about the fact that there's a need for a doctor's show for advice on television, that us people in Pahrump could use a one-on-one, over-the-air type situation of discussing things that you can't really have access to the doctor to talk about. So they're taking an hour each week, every Monday, to talk to you at home about the different medical procedures and different medical ideas in regards to the insurance reform. And of course, you get to talk to the doctors. So they're here. The phone number is 727-8750 if you'd like to contact us. And we're going to go to commercial break in just a moment, but we'd just like to say thank you for watching. And if you go online, I'm also on Local Pahrump right now, and you can catch me on Local Pahrump. You can talk about a little bit here in regards to, if you have a question, I'll notice it and I'll post it for the doctor if you don't want to call in. Today we have Ranae Goedhardt. She's a family nurse practitioner. So we'll be back from the commercial break in just a moment, and phone lines will open up for you, and you can go ahead and give us a call. So we'll be right back in just a minute.